All right, we're officially recording. We made it.
We did it.
This is Burn the Ship. The goal of Burn the Ship is to connect entrepreneurs with professionals that can help you go all in on your business. People that have walked the talk, figured out some of those challenges we experience as small business owners. Thank you for coming. First of all, appreciate it. I know we're here on a Saturday, so logistically this one's a little bit different, but thank you for coming nonetheless. I appreciate you allocating the time to be here and kind of speak with us about your business and hopefully learn a couple of things from you. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business.
Thank you, Bailey. It's my pleasure. I'm Jan Wolbrecht. My company is Incognito Wear IX. Think Roman numeral number 9, and I am in the firearm industry for concealed carry. So a lot of people like the 9mm for self-protection. So
I sure do. Yeah.
That's what I carry.
Mm-hmm.
Any firearm is better than no firearm if you're ever in a situation and you have to defend your life or your loved ones.
Have it and not need it, right?
That's right. That's the goal.
Have it and not need it. No, yeah, I carry a Ruger P89 now, and I have a Smith & Wesson 40 at my house, and those are my two go-tos, and I don't reckon I carry any of them exceptionally well. I carry them a lot, but I just carry them kind of on my hip. So tell me a little bit of a story, like what, because I know you shared it for me before we kind of got on the air, but
Sure.
Tell me a little bit of that story of like kind of what grew this idea in your mind.
Well, I blame it on my husband.
I've heard that one before, huh? Yeah.
But I was new to firearms, never been around firearms. My husband has been a lifelong hunter. At the time that we were courting, because I'm from the South, I was first exposed, and he taught me about firearm safety, which is critical. Anybody who's a gun owner is going to emphasize the gun safety. So just like a car is a deadly weapon, or a knife or a hammer, mutual respect for your tools. But, fast forward a number of years, decades, and God's perfect timing got me into the industry. So my daughter was a victim, my neighbor was a victim, middle of the day, 2 o'clock in the afternoon in a Walmart parking lot, and then my employer moved out remote. I would arrive at dusk, leave at dusk, depending on the season, and there was also crime popping up in areas that weren't typically your notorious areas of town.
What year was this?
This was around 2016, 2015. And it was just, it was just uncomfortable. And my husband was aware of coyotes being out at dusk. That's their prime hunting season or time. And he's, it's important that I be, one, situationally aware, but secondly, that I have a way to defend myself. So that started my journey into about concealed carry, learning more specifically about pistols and concealed carry. So he taught me a lot. He's very knowledgeable, but there's a relationship issue when it is a family member or particularly your spouse, and it's best to get somebody who isn't that close to you. I don't know what it is, but it's a learning issue kind of thing. We all seem to want to know more than the other person we're trying to teach, which, yes, obviously that's why you're going to them, but there's just something with that relationship. So he encouraged me to go to a local range and get involved with a group of women, which I highly recommend because women are different. We think differently, we are taught differently, our body structures, and especially with a male-dominated industry like firearms, we're going to be embarrassed to ask the question.
Sure.
So if we're around our peers, there's no stupid question. At least it is more felt in that environment. And I just couldn't get my head around the fact that these women were carrying guns. And I was like, okay, so you can do this, but how? How do I do it? And looked in the closet, and I'm like, I've got nothing to wear. I don't know how these people dress around a gun. Everybody's going to be able to see I'm carrying. What if it moves? What if it falls? How do I carry it? Just a avalanche of questions without really answers. And the more I thought about it, I realized I couldn't be the only person who didn't know how to dress around a gun. And I
Right.
wanted, because I experienced that helplessness with my daughter, with my neighbor, and I was just so angry that it happened, which is why people carry, why I carry, is because you never know when something may happen.
Yeah, it could be you.
Exactly. But that frustration really probably drove me to pursuing firearms because it can be scary. And again, I had my husband at home telling me, teaching me things, emphasizing the safety aspect of it. And so when I got to more comfortable with my firearm, shooting it, understanding the mechanisms and cleaning it and operating it, then I got into, okay, now we got to find the right kind of holster, and then I've got to figure out how to dress around it.
Right. And so you start to develop this line of clothing that helps people carry their weapons in a concealed format for women, right?
I did, because I looked in my closet, and yes, women say we don't have anything to wear, but this was true. I had stylish, form-fitting clothing, and you can't carry a firearm in something that's skin tight. It's
So
going to show.
tell me about that process of like kind of identifying what you wanted that look to be and getting those garments created. Like what was it like to kind of, feel out and put together that first garment that actually got made and test fitted for yourself? Like, what was that whole process like? Because I know there's more hoops to jump through than it sounds like. It isn't just a, hey, make this for me and let's test run it. So what is that whole process like of actually trying to get at least a prototype for a product?
Like a mouse trying to find the cheese in a maze. I didn't know where to start. I Googled everything that I could, but it is a very tight-knit industry, so I couldn't really find a whole lot. Sketched out some things, made a couple of calls from what I could find on Google. Couldn't find any clothing, decided, okay, then I'm going to have to make it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did buy things that I thought would work as I go by, and was fortunate to find a pattern maker who and a fabric rep that were willing to take on a new person in the industry, to teach me some of the things, some of the terminology. Do you want to knit? Do you want to woven? Well, what's the difference? Is it going to stretch or not stretch? Is it a interlocking loop or, what have you? And it was overwhelmed on every level. And 5 to 6 years into it, it's still very much overwhelmed.
Sure.
It's a deep thing, but
Plenty to learn.
I prayed about it. I'm a believer, and older than I look, but I was like, do I really want to do this? I mean, this is going to be a lot of money. It's a lot of money up front. So I prayed about that, came up with the names. God answered my prayer, which is a pretty neat story in and of itself. I'm going to share that with you if you like.
Sure,
but,
absolutely.
So as a believer, I prayed. I'm like, okay, Lord, is this something you want me to do? Because that's what my heart is. I don't want to do it if it's me, because I knew it was going to be challenging. I did not know how challenging. So God was very direct. I had my name picked out for Incognito Wear, because if you're going to conceal carry, you want to be incognito.
Right.
You don't want anybody to notice it.
Yeah, you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb, which a lot of if you see a lot of like anything that you can buy at Walmart is super makes you stick out, whether it's an undershirt holster or pocket holster, whatever it may be. It is hard to be incognito while you're carrying.
It is, and I didn't know how much it was going to change my wardrobe when I started, but and then I had an owl. I started thinking about the animal symbolism, and that really resonated with me. About, you hear them, they're there, but you don't ever see them. They're well camouflaged, they're observant, And it just fit together. So I'm like, okay, Lord, I either need to hear somebody say incognito or I need to see an owl. About 6 months later, it was in December, sunny day, I'm taking a walk, and here across my eye level at 5 foot, I think it's a hawk. It lands on the side of a tree, and it's an owl. So the answer doesn't get any clearer.
Oh, yeah, especially in the middle of the day.
In the middle of the
You
day.
do not see those in the day.
And it perched on the side of the tree. Now, we have a friend that's a fowl taxidermist and said, never say never, but owls never land on the trunk of a tree. They always perch.
Yeah, because they're so heavy. Yeah, they're like 5 bowling balls.
So I was like, okay, I got it. Don't know what I'm going to do, but I am going to go forward. And that is what I fall back to when I hit roadblocks, like trying to find a pattern maker and somebody who's willing to deal with around firearms, because that's another
Touchy
roadblock.
subject, yeah, I guess.
But Lord willing, I got connected with some right people and sketched it out. Of course, this whole process was a learning curve, but you got to sketch it out. You've got to make a tech pack. What is a tech pack? Well, that tells a sewer what to cut, how many pieces, how to stitch it, where it goes together. Then you have to pick out the fabric, and you have to order sample yardage, which is typically 5 or 10 yards. Then you have to find a factory that's going to cut and sew it. What kind of thread? You put it together. Then they have a fit model. Well, I can't do what's typical in the industry because I'm not a typical product. So I need to make sure the product is going to work for drawing the firearm. So I have to be the fit model. So it's got to fit me. But you have to test it. Okay, do I like the buttons? Is it laying right? This shirt, the sleeve length, the dolman sleeve. I'm carrying, so I have to be able to get it. I want to be able to get it with one hand because I'm a mom.
Yeah.
A lot of women that carry, it's because they have children.
Yeah.
And they want to protect that, like your wife.
Mm-hmm.
So has a new baby. She's going to have that that daughter in her arms and push a stroller. So she really needs one-hand access to it.
Yeah, she uses an over-the-shoulder bag now. That's like her only options, like an over-the-shoulder purse that she has, and she has gotten used to it too. I'll tell you, you will not get to her before she's already shooting you. I'll tell you that. She's gotten used to it, but she still sticks out like a sore thumb. She's in her workout clothes. We're walking and she's sweating, and she's got this really like nice, sleek looking bag on that you're like, why is that? And it even looks attractive. It looks like the thing you would steal. You know what I mean? So it's still not a great solution, but logistically it works. So the need is very real out there in the world. I mean, we live in an uber safe place. Like our area is very, very safe. And, the landscape of the world that we live in today does not lend anyone to that level of mental security, no matter where you are. So you always have to be prepared.
More so than
absolutely
than in the past, unfortunately.
So you got to be kind of the fit model. You were kind of testing out these products, like and making sure that they were actually functional the way that you saw it in your head. Kind of where did you go from there? How many products did you roll out at the beginning? Where kind of are you now in your business?
So I started with 4 items, and really it was kind of a top, 2 tops, and then made those into dresses as
nice.
Well. And now I have probably about 10 products that I actually design and have made.
Nice.
And then I buy some wholesale things because I've learned what style is going to do better for minimizing the printing. Now, it is going to take the practice of lifting your shirt with 2 hands and, having to draw differently than, say, this shirt where I could just easily get it with 1 hand. But I have expanded. I have different accessories because I've, as one who has a day job and professional, I didn't want to dress frumpy and sloppy
Right.
and blue jeans and a t-shirt every day. And I know that there are a lot of women that have to work late. They need to be carrying too. So professional clothing that's stylish, and then I have the purses because sometimes you have to carry in a purse, or pepper spray, jewelry, and accessories so that you get the whole fashion outfit, and you can still be feminine, attractive, and carry and armed and protected.
Sure. So as you're kind of going through this whole process, right, you're developing your products, you're making sure that they're functional, you're kind of finding your market. What would you say as to the beginning of this? What would you say that you did well? What would you say that these were skills that you had in your life that you kind of implemented in your business that kind of helped you push the ball forward into success? Obviously, one of those is being very diligent and meticulous, because from what I understand, the manufacturing part of this takes a lot of phone calls, finding people to work with you and things like that. And then kind of on the flip side of that coin, what skills did you need that you didn't have that you didn't know you needed? Kind of what did you learn from? What were some of your weaknesses as you kind of walked in the door?
Well, that's my best saying right now is you don't know what you don't know. And
That's very true.
there's a lot I don't know to this point still. My creativity is probably my best skill, I would say, because I'm thinking outside of the box, something that's not normal. The other drive is wanting to help people, help them in their journey, help them be safe. I know that helplessness feeling, and I don't want anybody else to be a victim. And so my slogan is actually never be a victim because of style.
Right.
So don't let the clothes keep you from protecting yourself, keep you from carrying. My weaknesses is wanting to please everybody, and you just can't.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. Probably making smaller decisions and seeing what happens is along the way, instead of here's the big picture, here's my goalpost, I'm just going to run down the field and do it.
Yeah, sure. You have to kind of niche down, I guess, at some point as well. But I mean, it's hard, and I think one of the biggest obstacles to kind of finding that niche is that you don't exactly know your product market fit until you test drive it. You put it out there into the market to see what people grab. You never know if exactly what your number one demographic is going to be in the sales world. So, no, I understand that, and you can't fault yourself for that too much. And having the willingness to put it out in the world and get the data that you need to kind of figure things out is a valuable thing as well. So,
and it's been difficult because the culture right now is even way worse than it was about 5 years ago, and censorship, that is really difficult social media wise,
mm-hmm.
of getting the name out and the brand out. There are a couple of industry big name guys that are very helpful. There's the USCCA that has a trade show, and that was really one of my first exposures.
Do they do that in Las Vegas?
They go around the city. So the year I did it, it happened to be here in Atlanta.
Oh, nice.
But it
Very
is
convenient.
Yes. See, that was a God answer.
Yeah.
Here it is in my hometown. I don't have to travel. Total new exposure again of going and being a vendor at a trade show. But they're a great resource for insurance is their primary thing, but also education. And the conventions, their expo is specifically for home defense, self-defense, and concealed carry. Yeah. And then the NRA also does a show.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
pretty neat. And so, kind of working through your strengths and weaknesses and getting some products out there into the market. Where's your business at now? Are you still trying to find trade shows and opportunities and things like that? Or are you kind of pushing things online? Like, how do we help you?
Getting the name out, the messaging, because censorship. So if you like, follow, comment, share with your friends, really appreciates that help. I am an online business, so it's open 24/7. Marketing is probably, one of those things I definitely need to focus on a little bit more, getting the name out, getting the products out, The other thing that's unique about me is that my products are American made.
Oh, wow.
So,
I was going to ask you that next, actually.
yeah, I feel like that's really not just for the American workers, but as we get into this tumultuous sea of what season we're in, I feel like people are really going to value being made in America and the patriotism of our country, the fact that we have a Second Amendment, what it means, and looking back in the future of what happens when you let go of that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not a good road.
Well, there you'll find, I have a lot of faith in your brand. I think good things are going to happen. You're probably going to make some good partnerships in the future that's going to make some cool things happen. And there's going to be mimicry. There's going to be some Chinese factory out there that starts to replicate and duplicate your products to the best of their ability, and you're going to be able to sit those things side by side and differentiate those two products. I have no doubt in my mind.
And that has happened. And unfortunately, because I had so many people tell me, oh, you need to trademark that. You need to trademark that. Fashion is a different industry.
Yeah,
you can't really trademark fashion.
Exactly.
All they got to do is change the stitch and they're around that, which, to get a patent, it's 10 grand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I've been through that a couple of times with a couple of different clients of mine. Actually, one of mine that was making a sporting accessory for baseball had gone through a patent, and then duplicated it, and then lost a court case based on the fact that the stitching was in the opposite direction. So like it's very difficult in the fashion world to kind of protect your intellectual property. But like you said, people will be able to tell the difference. People will be able to tell the difference. And the price might be lower from the duplicate, but you'll be able to feel it in your hands what the difference is. You'll be able to put it on and tell the way that it fits and things like that. It's based on so much more data and putting your hands on the product for so much more for you than it is for someone that tries to kind of duplicate that process. So.
And it just tells me, too, that there is a need.
Yeah, it's some affirmation.
Yes,
that's for
absolutely.
Sure. Well, that's cool, my friend. How do we get in touch with you? If we want to get in touch with you personally, or if we want to go to the website, remind us what the website is one more time in case we want to buy anything.
Absolutely. Please do. It's Incognito Wear Like a Garment, IX.com, the company name. And you can reach out to me there. My phone number, if you want to call, it's a great little number, is 678-96-ARMED, ARMED.
I love that. I love that, actually. That's really cool. Well, the way that we always end the podcast here, right, we're talking about burn the ship, right? And I know we talked about this a little bit beforehand, like, oh, I don't know if I've absolutely burned my ship. And I think you're too far into it now to turn around. So I think that you've definitely burned your ship. And if you've got enough time in the day to do all of the things that you do and still work a full-time job, I think you might have burned it twice. So tell me a little bit about what that feels like. Obviously there's some sense of empowerment for bringing value to the people that you're looking to bring value to as you kind of built the eye for this need out there in the world. But tell us what it's like to commit to that idea and become an entrepreneur and burn your ship and commit to it, and then why other people that have that same longing should kind of reach out for that same opportunity.
Well, it is very rewarding. I like to help people, and when I sell a product and somebody tells me it worked great, I feel fashionable, I don't feel frumpy, I feel attractive, I'm empowered. And that's really what I want to reach. So knowing that I can help people help themselves, stay safe, and their families is really that's what motivates me. I will say, knowing that God has given me this mission and staying true to Him, I know that He doesn't waste time. So though I may be a bit frustrated where I want to be, I know that I'm moving in the right direction. God's given me new ideas all the time, so we have new products that are constantly developing. It is scary to burn a ship. It is scary to move into that industry. I'm a first-time entrepreneur, so there are a lot of unknowns. But keeping keeping the focus on the fact that I can help somebody save their life.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing I like to say a lot in my social media is to be armed, fashionable, and incognito. So if I can help you dress well and blend in, be fashionable, you don't have to, wear your husband's t-shirt in order to carry a gun. You don't have to look, like you weigh 10 pounds more than you really do. But you can be fashionable, you can be stylish, and you can be prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that as your product continues to seep into the market, right, that you're going to have some of those stories come back to you. You know what I mean? And your industry right now, or I guess maybe not technically your industry, but the firearm industry in general, is catching a lot of flack right now for the world that we live in. And if there was anything that I could say to you and relate that to some of the people that are listening, is that patience is a virtue, and that diligence is rewarding. So as long as you don't give up, you're going to still find people to help and bring value to. And that's kind of the name of the game for us in our industry too, is that we know if we speak loud enough and we search far and wide enough, that there will be people that we can bring value to. And hopefully we can kind of push that message out there for you, because I think there's a lot of value to be had in your product. So thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it. The platform is yours. So if there's anything that you want to leave the people with, and any lasting thought, please feel free. But that's all the questions that I got for you. I think what you're doing is really, really cool, and hopefully we can help.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Bailey.
Yeah,
Thank you
no
for
problem.
what you do for other entrepreneurs. It's helpful. If you have a dream, you have a desire, keep going. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Yes, doors will close, but something else will open.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you've ever considered about getting into the firearm, becoming a gun owner, do so. Get to your local range, get some training, and know how to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Education is everything.
Fashionable clothes at Incognito Wear IX.
Yeah, no, I love that. You should be marketing. You should be telling people that all the time, because I believe in your product.
I believe in
And
it.
I don't think I'm
going to
wear any of those dresses.
So yeah, we got dresses, shirts.
Do you want to show the people the stuff? Actually, I forgot that you brought some of the stuff. Do you want to show them at the end of the video? Yeah, that'd be perfect. And I'll trip it out, and we'll put it out there like a OxyClean commercial.
All right. I'll let you do that. Okay. So in the camera. So this is my signature top, which
Here, yeah.
right here. And it's two pieces. I have it in a couple of different colors. And you're going to use it with your own firearm, with your own holster, and your firearm, because I can't sell that. But look fashionable. I can get to it easily. Nobody would know I'm carrying it. Dress it up with a skirt or dress slacks, or down with jeans. So I've got those in a couple of different colors. Here, this one. This is the tank top that pairs. So I'm old enough to remember Granimals with baby clothes would match up the zebras. But this top will work under any of this, my signature top, which is called the Lion and Lamb. It's a crossover concealment top. But it mixes and matches, so gives you a lot more outfits for your pieces. I do have a dress. This is a custom printed. It does have stretch. Use a belly band so you don't have to bend over and lose sight to get to a leg holster.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But it's at your waist.
That's pretty cool.
So it's a pass-through. And then this is one of my newer ones in a patriotic print, just in time for 4th of July. It's a tunic top. It's a moisture wicking. Also would work great as a bathing suit cover-up. So lots of different options there as well. And it minimizes the printing with these ruffles, and you can just get up underneath it. And this is my newest product. So skirt.
Oh, that's really cool. I see the on the side there.
So these are actually pockets, but the waistband has a built-in holster.
Oh, nice.
Belt loop, so if you have a favorite holster, you can still use a clip-on. And then just because it's 4th of July, who doesn't love a little bling?
Yeah.
So we've got some patriotic hats available too. Like I said, accessories, so you can get the whole look and feel put together, attractive, and be armed.
Oh yeah, I think I think your head's in the right place, and what you got going on is pretty cool. So.
Well, thank you, and
No,
happy
thank
to
you.
answer any questions. So if you're unsure about something, feel free to email me, info@incognitowearix.com.
Cool. Well, I think we're wrapped for this one, my friend. I would love
Thanks,
to.
Wade.
I would love to let the brand progress a little more, and then have you back, and we'll sit back and tell a funny story about how far you've come. So.
It's been an amazing ride so far, and I can't wait for bigger things and better things coming
Absolutely.
soon.
Cool. Well, until next time, it's been Burn the Ship.